Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for joining us here on Instagram for another Wine Wednesday. I'm Christian LaRoche. I'm sales manager for Waldorf Wine Group here in British Columbia, and I'm so glad you could join us here on Instagram. Wine Wednesday, as the name implies, it's something we've been doing since May of 2020. Yeah, we pivoted online, bringing online content for Wine Wednesday. We look at all sorts of things within our portfolio. We look at wines that we are currently bringing into market. We'll sometimes try some samples of wines that we're thinking of bringing into market. We talk about some promos that might be happening, or any events or dinners or winemaker visits or what have you. If you haven't done so already, I do invite you to follow us here. We'd love to have you join us. We're about 571 followers and growing. We have a loyal following. I see our good friend David Lancelot there. Good to see you, David. I'm glad you could join us. For those of you not familiar, Waldorf Wine Group, we've been around since 1993. We're a small family-owned operation founded by Andy Waldorf, still firmly at the helm. And we import European wines into British Columbia and into Alberta. And we've got a really eclectic portfolio. We bring in all sorts of cool wines, all price points. And we run the gamut, small family-owned producers, co-op sellers, class growth Bordeaux, domain bottled Burgundy, old school German wines, old school Rioja, organic Brunello, lots of stuff, well worth checking out. I'm really excited this week because we're kind of going back to our roots. A lot of you know us as premium importers of German wines, and we've got a cool German wine. I know we've been doing a fair bit of German wine here recently, but we've done a couple recently, dry wines. We did the Donhof Estate Riesling Trocken from the Nahe region, the premier grower in the Nahe region, which we are very, very proud to bring in. Also, last week we went back to the Middle Mosel with our good friend Oliver Haag at Fritz Haag Winery in Braunberg. Trying their Estate Riesling Dry 2023. Fabulous wine. We're going kind of the polar opposite. We are going old school. We're going back in time, and we're trying a late picked wine from select bunches. And this is a cool wine. We brought in a number of wines from this winery before. And let me tell you, this is about as old school as it gets. Pretty crazy old school labels, small family-owned winery. Basically what it was is, it's an old winery that traces its history back to the early 1700s, at least 1721. Part of a monastery, it was built over a vaulted cellar dating back to 1100. And only farming about 5.5 hectares of vineyards in the Middle Mosel, but a little bit different from what we've tried. Most of the Mosel wines we tried, the Mosel region, the Middle Mosel is an ancient seabed, 400 million years old, Devonian slate soil. But generally in the Middle Mosel, we're talking blue or gray slate. This one's a wee bit different around the bend, and we'll pull that up on the Google Earth map, but this is Middle Mosel with a difference. And let's flip the camera in. I want to show you what we're trying. This is really cool. We get some of these wines in. Basically what it is, the kids have not taken over for the parents. They still have available back vintages, library releases of some of their old wines that we are able to get through our good friend Johannes Zelbach. Because of course he's in the neighborhood and he's able to source wines like this for us. And we love this. Like nobody else is bringing in wines like this into British Columbia. Small producers, old school back vintages, and they're great value for what they are. They really are. And we bring in small amounts. Weird stuff like that too. Of course, we bring in our stable of great producers, Zelbach Oster, Fritz Haag, Donhof, Willie Schaefer, and the one that we're trying today. Let's flip the camera. I want to show what we're trying. This is cool because it's a bit of an anomaly. Check it out. Old school label as well. Check that out. Yeah, that's pretty old school. But this is where it gets interesting, too. Let's just pan up a wee bit. Check out the vintage. Yeah, you read that right. 2002. So you got a 23-year-old bottle from Horst Schwaab Kiebel in Urzig. This is the Urziger Wurzgarten, the Spice Garden. And this is an Auslese. So this is a Qualitätswein mit Prädikat, a quality wine with special attributes. It's an unsugared wine. It's a late-picked wine of selected bunches, weighing in at a whopping 8% alcohol. Love the old school labels like that too, with the heraldry and the barrels and the cellar shot. I just love stuff like this. But, pardon me, we brought in a a small amount. We had previously been on the 1994, the 1996 of the Urziger Wurzgarten. Horst Schwaab Kiebel and family, basically they're farming 5.5 hectares. As mentioned, the winery traces its history back to 1721. Excuse me, I'm going to just have a quick sip of water, if I may. Sorry, I had a little something stuck in my throat. But as I mentioned, Germany, or the Middle Mosel at least, is a little bit like Burgundy. Not a lot of people own entire vineyards. Vineyards are basically shared, and people own portions of it, rows of vines. And so it's rare that anybody will own an entire vineyard or have a monopoly on it. And this is very true with Schwaab Kiebel. They're farming 5.5 hectares both in Urzig and in Erden. We've brought in some of the Erdener Treppchen wines in the past as well too. But this just came in a little while ago, the 2002. We had a small allocation. We will likely bring a little bit more in this fall. Same vintage, but fabulous price quality wines. Very, very old school. Wines are drinking beautifully right now. I was shocked when I opened this wine. You should see the color. You'll check it out a little bit later, but this wine does not look like a 23-year-old bottle of Middle Mosel Riesling. Let me tell you, star bright. He has some green tinges to it still a little bit too. It's amazing. I was very, very impressed. But I love wines like these because they're time capsules. People don't make wines like this anymore. And like I said, it's indicative. Some of the kids not taking over for the family anymore. So we're all too happy to be able to bring some of these library vintages to market. And it's something you'll never see huge quantities of. There just aren't that many to go around. So they're historic bottlings for sure. And we like to bring things in like that, does Waldorf Wine Group. We're also, from time to time, we go to the VDP auctions in Germany in the fall, and we'll sometimes bring in some wines that are strictly only for the auctions. So things like that. Nobody else is doing that here in British Columbia. Only Waldorf Wine Group is. So if you want quality German wines, check us out. Drop us a line, DM me, or shoot me a quick email at Christian@waldorfwine.com. And that's Christian, Christian, @waldorfwine.com. And we'll hook you up. We'll help you find what you're after. But this is cool, like I said, a wee bit different. 5.5 hectares. Really, they do produce some really amazing Rieslings for what they are. Like I said, they are kind of time capsules. Everything's hand-picked, as you'd expect, because like I said, this is, we'll pull it up on the Google Earth map, but also we've got some photos here. Super, super, super steep vineyards going up to about a 70-degree pitch. You cannot work that with tractor or horses. It's all got to be done by hand, humans by hand. There's stairs carved out into it. When I pull up the shot showing you the vineyards above the river, it's just like a sheer cliff almost. Some of the steepest vineyards in the world, especially the Urziger Wurzgarten, the Spice Garden vineyard. It's like I said, it can't be mechanized. They're using environmentally conscious techniques as they cultivate all their their own grapevines. Everything's hand-picked, rigorous selection, slow fermentation in old oak Fuder barrels, generally 1,200 liter barrels. 65% of their vines are still on their original rootstocks. That's kind of cool. And as mentioned, this is a little bit different. Unlike a lot of the Middle Mosel, this is, it's not gray slate or blue Devonian slate. This is red slate on top of volcanic sandstone. Very particular soils. And that's what comes through. And Urziger Wurzgarten translates to the spice garden. And you really pick that up in the wines. They definitely have a savory spiciness, high iron content. You'll see there's quite a bit of red in the soil when we pull up the photos. Vinification is carried out, like I said, in the traditional 1,200 liter foeder barrels. No fining, wild yeasts, and they really focus on meticulous work in the vineyard. Basically, all they're looking to do is bring home the best possible fruit. Now, this is the current vintage we brought in. This is the 2002. I had to check my records to check on the vintage. Apparently, it was a dry vintage all the way up till the beginning of October. Except then, when the beginning of October, we started to get some rain. And this wine itself would have been picked a wee bit later, probably towards the tail end of October, beginning of November. Fair bit of residual sugar on this wine. We're probably talking somewhere in the neighborhood about 85, 90 grams per liter residual sugar. And you taste it in the wine. It's interesting, actually, too, because, 23 years on, this wine is, it's sweet. It hasn't lost any of its residual sugar, but just the integration of all the component parts, the acid, the fruit sugar, this comes across as a slightly drier wine. I mean, it's definitely comes across more sort of like an off-dry, more of a fruity wine, but the texture as well, too, it really has. Now, I love these wines because they are perfect examples, especially with some age to them, of low alcohol but full flavor. Like this wine would do very, very well with food, savory food. Maybe something with even a little bit of spice to it too, but pardon me. I've had some with Nova Scotia lobster, with drawn butter, and you'd be thinking, big buttery Chardonnay and the like that. And no, some of these older Riesling, Middle Mosel Rieslings do great with that because of the high natural acidity cut through the richness of that. But they definitely have enough body. But game, stinky cheese, what have you. I like them with smoked salmon as well, too. Beautiful. You know what? This might be a good time. I'm going to flip the camera around and we can check it out on the map. So let me just move the bottle out of shot, if I may. And let's pull up our Google Earth map. So we are in southwest Germany, almost on the border with Luxembourg, just south of Dusseldorf. The Rhine flows sort of west of Frankfurt and then starts heading north. And the Mosel meets up with the Rhine up here in Koblenz. So we're basically looking between Koblenz up here and Trier down here. And this whole section in here where the river snakes its way through is the Middle Mosel. So we're coming around the bend here. This is where the big Mosel Bridge was built a number of years ago. And our good friend Johannes Selbach is just down here in Zeltingen. But around the bend here, facing southeast, is Urzig, the town of Urzig, and this is the Wurzgarten, the spice garden vineyard. And that continues around the bend here, facing due south now, and this is Erden and the Treppchen and the Pralat vineyards. But for our purposes, they're based in the middle of the town here, but vineyards are all here along the river. So let me just pull up another shot, if I may. Yeah, it gives you an idea. Look how steep those vineyards are. That's all. And you can see how red that is. Like I said, high iron content on top of volcanic sandstone. And the sun shines off the river, and the reflection goes back up, obviously, into the vineyards. And the slate is a bit of a heat sink. It holds that heat as the sun goes down, and that helps with the ripening of the grapes. This gives you an idea as well, too. Look how steep those vineyards are. Again, yeah, you cannot get a tractor or horses working in there, too. It's all going to be done by hand. They actually cut stairs into there. It's crazy how steep that is. But it just gives you an idea. So, yeah, there you be. I'm just going to pull back, get our bottle back into shot. Now, this wine is not available at BCLDB stores. This is only available at private wine shops and better restaurants. There's not an awful lot to go around. I grabbed my bottle, a couple of bottles actually rather, at Marquee downtown here in Vancouver, but there's some all around the province. Yeah, and there'll be more coming in for the fall as well. A reload of the same vintage. This might be a good time to give the wine a try. Now, don't forget, this is an older wine, but even still, high acid wine. It's one of the wines that I recommend. Pull it out a little bit ahead of time, maybe 15, 20 minutes before dinner. We tend to drink our white wines too cold, our red wines too warm, white wine out of the fridge, red wine into the fridge, especially as we're getting into the warmer weather now. What can I tell you? I haven't had this open for too long, but check out the color. This is in my Riedel Riesling Chianti glass. Look at that color. 23-year-old wine. This wine has got, like I said, a little bit of like a medium straw gold color. It's actually, you can't see it probably on there, but it still has actually just slightly greenish tints. Like, I'm amazed. This wine is really not showing its age. Let's give it a swirl and a sniff. Ooh, wow, there's all that spice you'd expect from the Wurzgarten vineyard. I'm definitely picking up a little bit of like white pepper. Predominantly it's middle Mosel. I'm getting a lot of that red apple skin. A lot of citrus though too. Definitely picking up a little bit of lime, spearmint, maybe mint, talc, white pepper. Definitely getting a bit of white pepper on that too. But also I'm picking up a little bit, almost like a lemon curd sort of note to it. It's really interesting. Let's give the wine a taste. Mmm. 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 Wow. Really expands in the mouth. That really fans out. A little bit of sweetness. I would almost call that medium sweet on the tip of the tongue. And I'm picking up almost like a little bit of clover honey right on the very tip of the tongue. And then it switches over. I'm picking up almost a little bit of a slightly viscous note. And what's interesting too is this has a little bit of not too diesel-y, petrol-y. It's still very, very fresh. I'm picking up definitely a little bit of lime in there too. I'm going to have one more sip if I may. Mmm. Mmm. Wow. That's surprisingly opulent. That really has some good cling, some good texture. And interesting notes on the finish too. That really picks up almost like a little bit of like a bergamot, Earl Grey tea note to it as well too. Wow. And the acidity really kicks in on the finish. That's a beautiful wine. I would just, either sit and sip that wine on its own. 8% alcohol. Again, low alcohol, full flavor. You can have a couple of glasses. It will not hit you over the head with extract or alcohol. But wow, that is so aromatic. And like I said, that flavor, I've swallowed, but it keeps on replaying over and over. There's so much flavor going on in there too. Just a beautiful old school, Middle Mosel Riesling, and not too sweet. 2002, 23 years old, and I'm very pleased with that bottling. Wow, quite impressed. So yeah, there you be. There's a little bit left around. That's Horst Schwaab Kiebel, 2002 Urziger Wurzgarten Riesling Auslese, available around the province at a selection of private wine shops and better restaurants. And as mentioned, more will be coming this fall, same vintage as well too. So look for that. And drop us a line if you've got any questions. We've got a great stable of German wines, not just Rieslings. We'll bring in Weissburgunder, Grauburgunder, Pinot Blanc, Pinot Gris, Spätburgunder, Pinot Noir. We'll sometimes bring in some sect, some sparkling wine. A little bit of everything. And not just German wines, lots of cool wines in the portfolio. We are May. We've just finished Top Drop. We are in spot prawn season. Lots of cool wines coming in. We just got in our off-dry Anjou Rosé at BCLDB stores. Rosé d'Anjou Les Légériens. Gamay Grollo blend from the Loire Valley, done in a sec tendre, off-dry, tenderly dry style. Just a kiss of residual sugar. Beautiful wine, especially with spicy food. What else? Lots of cool wines. If you're looking for some wines by the glass, we've got a bunch of really good value wines. Mosel Rieslings. We've got some Rueda wines from Spain. We've got some Monsant wines from Spain. We've got some Pinot Grigio. We've got some organic Frappato back in stock from Gargenti in Sicily. Great pizza wines. We've got sparkling Cremant de Loire, de Chantilly Brut, traditional method Chenin Blanc with a dollop of Chardonnay in there too. Half the price of most non-vintage champagnes. And different too. Not Cava, not Prosecco. A wee bit different. We've also, probably later this week or maybe next week, we have a new Bordeaux arriving for the BCLDB. It is a certified bee-friendly, Bordeaux, coming to us from it's from the Entre-deux-Mers region, but it can't be called Entre-deux-Mers because it's a red wine. It's mostly Merlot and Cabernet Franc. Beautiful wine coming in. We used to bring in a wine at BCLDB called Chateau Canada from Saint-André de Subsac, around 15 kilometers northeast of the city of Bordeaux. Chateau doesn't exist anymore. It was sold, so we can't bring it anymore. So this is going to be our replacement for it, Chateau Landerneau. We bring it in half bottles as a restricted speculative product. We're going to be bringing in some 750 ml bottles available at the BCLDB. This is from Bruno Bellet and family. Really nice, plummy, right bank style wines, mostly Merlot and Cabernet Franc. And again, certified bee friendly as well too. Kind of cool. So that'll be coming up. I have a couple hundred cases and those are really, really well priced. So look for those soon at BCLDB stores. Don't have much else going on. Not sure what we're going to do next week. We might do some bubble. We might do some Rioja. Who knows? But if you haven't done so already, I do invite you to follow us. We'd love to have you join us here. That's about it for this week. I'm Christian. Glad you could join us. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care. Bye for now.